everyone, and welcome back to the Sir Davies. I am Sir Davies, and today we're tackling a topic that might surprise you in its depth and relevance: money. You will not realize this, but the Bible talks about money more than it talks about heaven and hell combined. That's right, it mentions wealth, possessions, and finances over 2,350 times. Why? Because how we manage our money, how we earn it, save it, spend it, and give it is intrinsically linked to our faith, our character, and our ability to fulfill our divine purpose. Today, we're going to unpack 5 timeless biblical money lessons that are not just ancient history, but are incredibly powerful and practical for building wealth and living a life of purpose right here in 2025. These aren't just rules, they are principles for abundance. Let's dive in. In a world constantly chasing trends and quick fixes, there is an enduring wisdom in God's word that transcends economic cycles and technological advancements. These aren't just about financial gain, they are about holistic well-being, peace of mind, freedom, and the ability to be a blessing to others. God's desire for us isn't poverty, it's wholeness and prosperity in every area of our lives, including our finances. He wants us to be wise stewards of the resources He entrusts to us, not just for our own benefit, but for the expansion of His kingdom. These 5 lessons aren't magic formulas, but they are proven principles that, when applied with diligence and faith, can transform your financial reality. Lesson number 1, stewardship. It's all God's. Now listen here. This is the foundational principle. The Bible clearly states in Psalm 24 verse 1, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it." In 1 Chronicles chapter 29 verse 11 and 12 reminds us that all our possessions, wealth, and power come from Him. We are not owners, but managers or stewards. Every dollar, every asset, every talent you have is ultimately from God. This mindset shifts you from a sense of scarcity and entitlement to one of gratitude and responsibility. It impacts how you spend wisely, save purposefully, invest ethically, and even earn with integrity. When you view your money as God's, your decisions become less about personal greed and more about maximizing impact for His glory and for others. Lesson number 2, tithing and generosity, the principle of first fruit. Now, in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 9 and 10, it says that honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. And Malachi chapter 3, verse 10 gives a direct challenge. It says, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessings that there will not be room enough to store it." Now, tithing and generosity beyond that is not a tax. It's an act of faith, worship, and trust. It's putting God first with your finances, a direct extension of our last video's message. Now, this principle isn't about getting rich quick. It's about aligning with a spiritual law of sowing and reaping. It's a trigger of abundance when done with a pure heart and purpose. Consistent giving, whether it's tithes to your church or generous donations to causes you believe in, open doors for you to be a conduit of blessing, not just a recipient. It cultivates a heart of abundance, not scarcity. Now, lesson number 3, diligence and hard work, the ant principle. Now, Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 and 11 is clear. It says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." And Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4. Says, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. There are no shortcuts to true sustainable wealth. God calls us to be diligent, to work with excellence, and be responsible with our time and talents. This counters the get-rich-quick mentality. It emphasizes consistent, wise effort. It encourages us to develop skills, to serve faithfully in our jobs or businesses, and to avoid procrastination. This isn't about frantic hustle, as we discussed last time, but about spirit-led diligence, working with purpose and intention, stewarding the gifts God has given you. Lesson number 4, giving them planning. Let's talk about the Joseph principle. Think of Joseph in Genesis chapter 41. He interpreted Pharaoh's dream and advised him to store up grain during the 7 years of abundance to prepare for the 7 years of famine. Proverbs chapter 21 verse 20 says, in the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil, but a foolish person devours all he gets. Prudence, foresight, and building reserves are biblical principles. It's about wise planning for the future, not just living paycheck to paycheck. This means having an emergency fund, saving for retirement, investing for the future, and not consuming everything you earn. It's a key step in building generational wealth and achieving financial freedom, allowing you to be a blessing in times of need, just like Joseph. It's about being prepared, trusting that God will use your preparation. Lesson 5, avoiding debt. The borrower is slave to the lender. Chapter 22, verse 7 is a stark warning. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. While not all debt is inherently sinful, for example, a mortgage for a home you steward, the Bible cautions strongly against debt, especially consumer debt. It highlights the burden and loss of freedom that can come with being indebted to others. This encourages wisdom in borrowing. Prioritize debt freedom as much as possible. It empowers you to live within your means, make wise spending decisions, and avoid entanglement that limits your financial flexibility and ultimately the ability to respond to God's leading. It's about financial limit. These 5 biblical money lessons, stewardship, generosity, diligence, saving and planning, and avoiding debt, are not outdated. They are timeless principles designed to bring order, abundance, and purpose to your finances, empowering you to live a life that honors God and makes a lasting impact. Which of these biblical money lessons resonates most with you, and which one will you commit to applying more intentionally this week? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. I would love to hear how these principles are shaping your financial journey. If this video brought you value, please hit the like button, subscribe to the Davies for more faith-based insights on productivity and wealth building. And make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss out. You can also dive deeper into these topics on my podcast and find daily inspiration on my social media, all linked in the description. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, God's wisdom is always relevant. Until next time, keep living by His principles.